Is that?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Because then I'll just record to Noah's cloud. Okay. Perfect. All right. Okay, started. We probably won't be here too long. Does someone have the speaker?
It's not me.
I'm sorry, you said what?
It's been happening since I got in here.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Do you have your speakers on?
No.
Or the microphone
It
on?
was doing
I
that
don't
before
have
I got in here.
anything
Like
loaded
his
on
parents
the
right
okay.
like it would be.
Yeah.
Okay, it's one of these.
Well, the desktop doesn't have a mic or anything, so it shouldn't be picking anything up.
It could be us echoing.
So the recording on this computer should be turned off, correct?
Really?
Right.
It's not
Since
recording.
Allison is recording.
Yeah, I'll see her. It's fine. If it's not bothering anybody, we'll just keep it going.
Allison muted the other Melissa, so maybe that's what it was.
Oh.
It's fine, just mute me. Okay, it didn't fix it, but it'll be okay. So, last meeting of the semester, we probably won't be here too long, we just have a few things to go over. And then we're going to kind of introduce the new exec board to pretty much the new exec board. And then we're just going to do a couple of wrap-up things. So, the first thing we're going to do is officer reports. And I'm obviously doing first. So the first thing is actually the faculty meeting we had in April. It wasn't that long just because like none of the faculty could make it because they were all doing other stuff. But I do have a couple of things to update us. So the first thing is the accessibility coordinator for UNCG actually came in and introduced the new accessibility website for staff, faculty, and students, which was absolutely awesome. You guys should check it out. It's literally just accessibility.uncg.edu. If you're in one of Professor Dawkins' class, she probably already sent it out to you, but it has a lot of really great guides to starting if you're just getting into accessibility for digital services. There's a bunch of like handy little how-tos and tutorials if you're trying to make like your website accessible. And they have links to all the different things where you can get the like text readable thing. I'm not talking in English, but anyway, you guys should really check it out. It has a ton of information. She did say that there's a lot on there, so it could be a little overwhelming for those who are new to accessibility, so just kind of take it one step at a time. They do have a lot of kind of, you know, where to start and where to go from there. She said that includes website and digital accessibility, tips on making accessible syllabi for faculty and staff, and information on how to make accessible or accessibility requests in collaboration with the Office of Accessibility and something else. It's ORS, that's the abbreviation. So you can put in an accessibility request if you are a student through that website. And they can make transcription and caption requests through the website as well if you have a video. Or if there's a UNCG video you're watching that you need a transcript for. You can request training through the website as well from someone in the accessibility office, which might be something LISSA might want to do next year. To keep that in mind, you can do accessibility training. And you can also report accessibility issues on campus about any UNCG materials. So if you see a video or a form or anything through UNCG's website or on campus that you think is not accessible, you can put in a little, you guys should check this out and make it accessible thing. So after that, we talked about the 2 candidate searches that are happening at this moment. The clinical position, all of the candidates have now been here. They came throughout April. And they should be making a decision soon, probably by the end of the school year or in the first little bit of the summer, about who will be the new clinical position for the undergraduate degree. The lecturer position for the master's degree, they have 4 candidates right now that have been invited for phone interviews, and they actually just, I think, had the phone interviews on Monday. So they should be moving on to the next stage of that soon, and we should have a new lecturer on staff. So that'll be exciting. We mentioned in the last meeting the bachelor's degree is getting a name change because a lot of people didn't like that it was studies. They wanted it to say science. So that name change went through and has been submitted to the UNC system. But now they want to change the master's degree to match it. So collect all of your library and information studies materials because they're going to be rare and a big hit. So
I got it before it was science.
barring any issues, Dr. O is going to clear the proposal with all of faculty, like the ones who weren't at the meeting. But barring any issues, they'll be submitting that name change, and hopefully within a year or so, after it clears all the different levels of the system, they're going to be changing it to the Masters of Library and Information Science. So, I don't know if that affects anyone who's currently enrolled, what your degree will say.
There are no formal ties with that, like if it's studies or science?
Nope, I think, well, the whole thing with the bachelor's degree was since they were studies, they weren't sure where they fit into, because they were in the school of ed, but they wanted to be looked at as more of a science-based degree.
It's just pomp and circumstance. Nobody cares what your degree says as long as it's accredited.
Yeah, it's more marketable.
That's what it's all about.
So the university was really pushing for it for the bachelor's degree, and now we figure since we've already changed the bachelor's degree name, it would make more sense to make us science as well.
I think half the people who get us the degree already say library and information sciences anyway.
Yeah,
They don't realize
that's part of the
studies.
problem. So yeah, we figured
I
it was
kind of already thought it was that.
So
News to me.
they're changing our name. Moving on from that. They're actually a really cool program that's coming up that we just agreed to with Charlotte Mecklenburg and their school district is they're looking at having a possible school library cohort. So basically they'll enroll 60 students. I'm sorry, I just misread that. My screen keeps turning on. Sorry. They have 60 schools in Charlotte-Mecklenburg that don't have a certified full-time librarian. So what they're going to do is basically over 4 years, they're going to have, I think they're looking at 60 for the starting cohort. But over 4 years, they'll be enrolled in 2 classes a semester, and it'll be entirely online with the possibility of doing a Charlotte in-person, like teaching instruction. But basically, the cohort will go through all the classes together, and when they graduate, they would effectively be hired by Charlotte Mecklenburg and be their full-time librarians, which is really good for us because we can tell UNC to suck it. So that's something to look into. I'm not sure when the plan is to start that. I think it'll probably be 2020 by the time that happens. They just have to get it all sorted. And then I don't know if anyone's heard of the WISE consortium. It's WISE, like abbreviation. But any institution that's a part of the consortium can take courses at other WISE institutions. So this is a really great opportunity. We are currently not a part of it, but basically UNC is taking over the consortium, and depending on how much money it is per year, we might join as well. So we would be able to take classes at other WISE institutions, like classes maybe we don't have on a regular basis. And then it would also be an opportunity for us to kind of boost our more specialized classes that we typically don't offer on a regular basis. So like we have music librarianship, and not every LIS program has that, so we would be able to kind of corral in other WISE consortium institution students to take that class. We do get, I think, a portion of the tuition if they do that. But that would open up a lot of classes at other institutions that we don't offer here. So hopefully that would be something they would start next year, but it kind of depends on the funding and money that is involved, but that's something that we will likely have. Yes. So Student and Faculty Welfare Committee will be taking all of the student concerns from Cora Paul Bomar when we did the little roundtable stuff. And they're going to be working through them and hopefully implementing a lot of changes starting in the fall based on those concerns. And they're also looking at maybe changing up the setup of those breakout sessions for next year's summit, especially with more mingling between the students, alumni, faculty, and attendees, because we were kind of all segregated this past year, and they would like to have us all kind of working together. They would also request that any very, very specific concerns you have to maybe put them in your teaching evaluations or bringing it up with Dr. O'Connor directly or one of the other faculty. Next year, they're hoping that they can really focus the breakout sessions at the summit more towards the actual like topic of the summit. I think a lot of us kind of got off track. They said that they really appreciate getting that feedback, but there's a different way to bring that feedback up, or concerns and suggestions up. One more update about graduation for those of us who are going to be there. May 10th from 2:30 to 4:30 at the Coliseum. It'll be a reception with punch and cake because we can afford things. And an official picture will be taken at 4 p.m. So if you're graduating, please be there at 4 p.m. so we can all take a picture together. And then if you are going to university graduation, that's at 10 a.m. in the Coliseum. I really don't recommend it. It's 3 hours of your life we'll never get back.
But I mean, Ken's speaking this time. You don't
But it also, it's just, okay, if you've never been, so basically what they do is no one walks except for doctoral students. And the only thing they do is they just call on each like major or school and they have you stand up.
Well, that's it.
And then they have you sit back down.
I would go, listen to him speak, and then dip out.
You can't.
Oh,
That
that's deal
attitude.
breaker.
Sit in between.
Can someone unlock the computer?
Oh, this.
Oh wait, I gotta do it because it's mine.
Oh,
Dang it.
you're right.
These laptops fall asleep so easily.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
I know the syllabus one is like in between the main one.
So I was actually to ask about so the School of Ed reception, or not reception, graduation, sorry, is at 5:30. So you could go to the
That's the one where you get your like fake degree, right?
you actually get to walk, and they'll give you the folder your diploma will go in. Okay, seriously?
Allison said no way to leave those things in the middle, unless you want everyone to see you. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, pieces.
Okay, so like 6,000 people are gonna see you leave then.
So?
But so that one's a 5.
I would
School of
go.
Ed.
To chat with you.
School of Ed's the big one that you want to go to if you don't want to sit through the university-wide one. And that one, from what I've heard, Dean Randy Caulfield, the School of Ed dean really wants it to be like an in-and-out kind of thing, like everyone speaks real quick, call all the graduates, you walk in, out, done. He doesn't want to sit there for like 3 hours, and we don't either. So that one should wrap up pretty quickly, but that's the main one where you actually will get called and you get to walk. So if you have to choose, I definitely suggest doing the LIS one, and because it's a reception, and then doing School of Ed. If you want to go to the one in the morning, go for it. Okay, last thing. Nope, sorry, 2 last things. Cora Paul Bomar, we have the dates for 2020. April 3rd and April 4th of next year. So everyone put that on our calendar. And then the final thing is the capstone. We went over this again for the 8th time. I don't know why we have to keep bringing it up, but anyway. So the new capstone, which should not affect any of us, theoretically, at orientation, on your first day, students will get an electronic workbook that covers requirements and forms that they will need throughout the entire process and up until their capstone class. They have 2 options for their capstone. Option A is a 120-hour practicum. Option B is the design thinking field-based project. Students will declare their intent the semester before they graduate, and option B will be required to take research methods. They have to take that class if they choose option B. Option B students will also need to have a project proposal submitted prior to their final semester. And out of all of this, school library students won't be included at all. They'll have to do option A because they have the hallmark and the additional SLOs. So that's the new capstone. It doesn't affect any of us. I think next semester you could opt in theoretically to the new one, but it won't be a thing. So that was everything that started the faculty meeting. Does anybody have any questions? It does, and I think that's what they're trying to do, is get a lot of people to move towards Project B because they know that it's like something other than a practicum, that it's a physical, like, representation of all the things you've learned, and also something that you could, I don't know, you could actually have like physical benefits for wherever you're doing this project. But they're pretty sure a lot of people are still going to opt for option A because they just don't want to do the work, which is understandable.
Well, if you're going into an academic library, I would choose Project B because of the research methods class. That could really stand out on your resume. They want people to know how to conduct research in an academic library, so I think that would be a...
I'm not sure. It's not really supposed to affect anyone that's already enrolled. It's supposed to be people who start this fall. So you guys will still have the you can still technically do option B. I know a lot of you guys are doing your independent studies, but yours is like theoretically could be like a Project B project, right?
If I understood all the things that Project B entails, sure.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, you could technically do option B like as an independent study, or I would actually suggest talking to Dr. Connor. If you really want to do that, she can probably set it up so that you can. Oh, all the computers keep falling asleep.
Hey, look,
it's the other one.
Tech girl, let's go.
I would talk to Dr. O'Connor because it's not going to be implemented like program wide. So, but if you still want to do that option, I definitely suggest it. And I know they would had maybe that fixes it. Yay.
Yeah.
The guinea pig class from last spring kind of had to do this project, so they have kind of the scaffold in place to do it. So I would definitely suggest talking to Dr. Connor if you really want to do it, and maybe you can get that started. Come the fall, you can kind of figure out what you want to do, and then in the spring you could do the project. Any other questions? When in doubt, just talk to Dr. O.
Yeah, I don't think it would be very...
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time when stuff like this is presented, the students tend to overthink it to the point where they get confused. But, I mean, she talked to me about the design thinking thing, and it doesn't seem like that intense. Like you're literally just laying out your plan for a project and how you implement it. So basically it's project management. So I don't see how it could be a detriment to anyone who takes it, in a sense.
So my final thing is, so student chapter of the year, I got the email. We did not win this year, even though, like, we should have. We talked about it with some other people, and it's probably just, we're up against a lot of programs that have a lot of in-person students, so they get a lot of involvement very easily. So it's a struggle, but we'll just keep applying, and maybe next year we'll get it again. It's really hard for schools to get it 2 years in a row, too. So I think USC is the only one who's managed to get it 2 years. So if you guys want to apply next year, you should.
Do we know who made it this year, though?
They did not tell me, and they never update that website. Like, it still has the 2017 winner on it, so I have no idea.
17 one.
Yeah, we were not on the website the whole year that we were
Wow.
there, but it's fine.
We can relive our glory once they update it.
It's really not. I mean, other than the money and going to ALA, it wasn't that great. Like our reception thing was kind of.
It was just hot. I mean, it was fine. I enjoyed it, but it was just in New Orleans in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
gross.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
like I got to know people on a very intimate level.
Especially on that trolley back there.
Yeah. But it was good. Like I liked the reception.
Very good. So I know there are several people who are going to ALA this year. I probably won't be going. But since we're not going as a group, I don't know if people who are going, if we want to meet up and like schedule something. It's up to you guys. I don't know which faculty are going because like everyone's kind of all over the place, and we're not doing a booth this year, so there's not like a central group going, but if anyone is going, I definitely say reach out to other students and see who's going and meet up. That was it for me. Tori?
So speaking of ALA, Dr. Chow has an opportunity for people who are interested. There's not going to be a National Library Legislative Day this year, but he is still planning to go with some librarians who want to talk to their legislative members and communicate the value of libraries, but also kind of do it on the, like, piggyback on ALA. So I believe it's June 20th through the 25th. I could be wrong. But he has offered to allow at least, like, I believe somewhere between 2 students to go, and they'll try to pay some of your registration for ALA. The details are not fully fleshed out. You would want to contact me so I can get you in touch with him. But if you're willing to, like, fly by the seat of your pants and you are cool with going with the flow, this is the opportunity for you. Honestly, like, I went last year to National Library Legislative Day, and it wasn't the same time as ALA, but the fact that he is willing to go out of his way to try to scrounge up some extra money for at least, like, a one-day registration, that is, like, really nice of him, to be honest. Like, there are students who don't get to go at all. I think that was just really polite for him to do. So I would encourage, if you know anyone who really wants to go for at least even a day just to see what it's like. I mean, to be honest, half the people who go end up dogging ALA in the first place. Like, don't go if you're sitting there talking about how big it is and, like, it's bad for networking. Like, oh my gosh, hush. It's a fun time. So I would recommend that if you really want to go, if you've never gone, contact Dr. Chow. All it means is that you have to go into the state capitol. What a bummer. That place is so cool. And then you just talk to some legislative aides or a member of Congress about why libraries are important where you are. And they want to hear what you have to say. So I think it's a benefit all around. I would do it if I knew where I was going to be over the summer. I would hop on that in a hot second. So it's just such a great opportunity. And the actual room and board, like, there's somebody who is willing to host students at their house outside of DC. I think you would only have to pay for your food. But other than that, like, maybe a Metro card. I think those are the 2 things that you would actually have to pay out of pocket for. So there is some coverage on funding. But, I mean, I'm just pushing it because I would totally do it if I could, but I can't. So I'm kind of jealous. But that's that. And then we have our last Crit Lib meeting on Saturday. May the 4th be with you. And we're going to review a book talk that Robin DeAngelo did on her book, White Fragility. That video is actually on our LISSA Resources website under the Crit Lib section. We're just asking that anyone who wants to attend view that video. It's about an hour and a half long, so it's a pretty little chunk, but, you know, you could make dinner and just watch it as you're making dinner and eating. I mean, it's not... I haven't watched it yet, Morgan. Good to hear that. I need to watch it, but, you know, life. I'm going to do it, though. So, that is that. That's it for me.
Cool. Okay. So, Nayla.
Yeah, so the fundraiser is done. All the t-shirts are shipped. I still have 2 t-shirts waiting for pickup, but pretty much everything else is done. We made, let me check. We made $326.44. Sold like 30 t-shirts, I think. So yeah, I think that was successful. I checked like 2 days ago, and CAP has not transferred the money to our account yet. But I think it takes some time for Eventbrite to transfer the money to CAP, and then they have to do the bill and the math, and then transfer the money to our account. So yeah, it'll be there, but I'll keep an eye on it, and I might contact Amanda about this. But yeah, so far so good. Nothing else has changed in terms of our account.
Making money.
Just making money, yeah.
So, Ashley?
So the only thing I need to discuss is the story times that we've been doing with the Boys and Girls Club. So we went, I think it was last week, and it went, or 2 weeks ago, and it went really well. We had 4 volunteers total. We read books about success and gratitude to the students, and they were really happy to see us again. And so, you know, it went really well, and we'll have our last one coming up on May, oh, the date is just leaving me. I said May 12th. No, May 3rd, because Friday, May 3rd. and it'll be at 3:30 to 4:30 again. So if you're interested in volunteering, just email me, and I'll include my email in the minutes, and also it's posted on the flyer, which will be on social media. We'll provide all of the books, and the theme this time will be patience.
Okay, I'm gonna miss that one.
That sounds fun.
But it's relevant to them because they're at the end of the year, but they still have a few more weeks of school left, so I'm sure they're biting at the bit to get out, but,
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I had a girl, last time, she had 2 Capri Suns in her pocket, and then a bag of chips in her other pocket, and they weren't allowed to eat, and I was like, you've got to figure it out, but also you can't do that right now.
Yeah.
And so it'd be funny to see how patience goes over. Like, patience.
So yeah, Friday, May 3rd, 3:30 to 4:30. Thank you, Allison, for putting the email there.
And then, Allison?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, I have to give my stats, our last social media stats. So, Facebook, we have 432 likes and 470 followers. So, that's up 1 from last month.
Yeah.
Twitter, we have 304 followers. So, that's up 6 from last month. And then Instagram, we have 177 followers, and that's up 4 from last month. So, we're still trending upwards with our social media.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
And if you don't follow any social media, you should do that.
Follow and like, because if we like, the algorithms are such that it will push them up to the top of stories and feeds and all that stuff. So
You could be that lone one Facebook liker.
You get the laptop.
Okay,
you.
we'll get up.
Okay. I can't remember what happened. Okay, so the next thing, as we talked about, this is the last meeting. So we're going to introduce the new officers now that they're officially in the books as our new officers, which you all ran a great campaign. We had a lot of voting. I think we had about 20 votes total. So that's about where it was last year as well, which is really good. So first, we're just going to go around the room/virtual room, and we're just going to introduce you guys. And if you just give a look. If you guys could just introduce yourselves and give a little blurb about yourself, that would be great. So first up is our president-elect, Jenny Carlos.
Hi everyone. So I'm Jenny. I'm originally from California. Moved to North Carolina in 2016. I have my first master's degree in higher ed from Appalachian State University, and I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. And then our VP, Morgan. Great.
Hey, I'm Morgan, and I'm from Winston-Salem, and I also went to Appalachian State University for my master's degree in English. Jenny and I were there at the same time. We just didn't know that we were there at the same time.
Is that better, Allison? Oh, next is actually Dylan, so he's
Okay, yeah, my name's Dylan. I'm already a member, first year representative, so I guess this will be my second year. Originally from Fayetteville, and well, I don't already have a master's, but I'm excited to get this one. So, yeah.
All right, and then our secretary-elect next is Noelle Kincaid.
Hi, I'm from McLeansville, North Carolina, which is right outside of Greensboro, and I got my bachelor's in anthropology from UNCG, and I'm excited.
All right, so, and our final is our communications manager-elect, Michelle Leonard, who's actually online.
Hi, everyone. I live in Raleigh, and I grew up in Hope Mills, which is very close to Fayetteville. I have a master's degree from North Carolina State in engineering, and I'm really excited to be working with you guys.
Okay, so maybe the first master's degree is a prerequisite now, right? So Dylan, we're going to keep it on that.
Me too.
Slacking. Yeah.
So the starting exec board, they're officially taking over the moment school ends. It's all yours. So the last thing actually wrapping up is just kind of, so final dates, we already went over that, is CritLib is on May 4th from 11 to 12 in room 302 or online, as usual. And then also our last Boys and Girls Club story time is on the 3rd, so the day before that, 3:30?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 3:30 to 4:30. And that's pretty much it. If you can make it after graduation, even if you're not graduating, you totally should. That's on the 10th, all day, depending on which one you go with. And then I just wanted to kind of open up, if anyone had any ideas for the upcoming year that they wanted to bring up, just as kind of a thought for our new exec board to think about, ruminate over the summer. I definitely suggest you guys have an exec board meeting over the summer. We did several, and it worked out perfectly. But if anyone has any ideas, if you don't want to bring them up now, you can always contact one of our new exec board members to kind of hash that out with them. But if anyone had any ideas, I just wanted to kind of open up the floor for a few minutes before we closed out the year. Anyone?
I would definitely do the exec board meetings over the summer. It just provides you a chance to feel a little bit more prepared when the school year starts, and you already have a team of people you're well acquainted with. You guys can play off each other better if you have that repertoire before it starts. It's just, and I mean, we did ours through, I think, doodle polls to see who was available at what times. I mean, you could see a late night LISSA exec board meeting happening. It would be, I just would recommend it for not feeling so ambushed when the school year starts on what you want to do, because you don't have to be super involved, but I would recommend being present. So
you kind of have to hit the ground running when the school starts.
Yeah.
Also, there are a couple of deadlines, right? If you consider GSA funding, that you have to have a plan pretty much already when the school year starts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of
that
time.
is one thing. I'm slacking on my job, guys. Sorry. GSA is actually considering changing the senators around. So, basically, for those who were not aware, the Graduate Student Association is kind of their big thing for us as a student association would be the funding part. There are deadlines to apply for funding, and they've changed a lot of the way they actually do funding. It is still refund based, so you go to an event, they'll refund you the money. But now they're making it a little bit more specific as to you have to communicate, one, what the event benefits you, in your career, maybe? I don't know how to explain this. Thank you, Allison. Yes. But you have to kind of sit there and explain how it benefited you and then how it benefits the university as well. Why did they pay for you to go to that? And what did that bring back to the institution? So that's interesting. But originally, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it affects the LISSA Student Association, because at least 2 members of the executive board were considered, you had to sign up to be senators on the Graduate Student Association senator thing, because if you don't have a senator present, you don't qualify for funding. So you always had to have somebody attend a GSA meeting. That's still going to be the case, but they're thinking about kind of evolving it more to where maybe you have 2 senators and 2 alternates. So it makes it a little bit easier for everybody to get to the meeting, and it expands out who can actually go as well. So that's something that the next executive board will really have to pay attention to, and they'll want to have somebody who is guaranteed, at least one person, preferably 2, on the executive board who's guaranteed to be able to attend those meetings on campus. They are doing an online presence. They are going to go through WebEx now, and I mentioned specifically that our degree is very online focused, so we would want that online presence to count as a senator attending. So ideally, Michelle or Morgan, you guys could still attend.
Let me just So GSA, it's not LISSA specific, it's the LIS department. So it can be any student. It does not have to be a member of LISSA. Usually at the beginning of the year, I asked Dr. Bird if she had any students she might want to recommend. So it doesn't have to be just exec board.
True, yeah.
You can do any student. So you can open it up. And actually it's a great opportunity for students to get involved for those who don't always regularly get involved with LISSA.
Yeah, and if you have like an online student who wants to get involved but they don't know how, that could be an option for them to attend it via WebEx. But there's just a lot of stuff in the mix going on at GSA right now that like isn't actually confirmed. So I'm telling you all of this, but like who knows how it's actually going to settle out. So yeah, sorry. It definitely could be any student. I forgot about that part.
So moving on. If anybody has any other ideas, just contact our new exec board. Do not contact me. So if that's what everybody's got, I just want to say thank you to everyone for making this a great year. I know we did a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope everyone has a good summer. I hope you're all getting your assignments done. And turning them in on time.
I just thought of one thing. Sorry. So we have, I'm not sure how much I have told anybody else about it, but as far as the new exec board, we have a really cool resource network list that's on our website, and Greg has kind of made it really pretty. But basically it's just a bunch of librarians and archivists all over the state, and there's one in Canada, so they're kind of everywhere. But if you guys have ideas of things you want to do, like meetups, or want to get in touch with somebody to, you know, organize a tour or something like that, these people want to help, and they've signed up to help. So I hope that you all can find that useful as you move forward.
Yeah, Allison worked really hard on that, so use it.
That was my December break project.
All right. So if there is nothing else, again, thank you to everyone. We hope next year goes swimmingly, and we actually get paid for student chef of the year.
We're gonna have a bunch of money for other.
Yeah, you're gonna have so much money, since we're not joining the account for ALA this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you still could.
That was really fun.
You're sitting on 1,300 now.
Being broke for
once it's processed.
But just know you have to do the travel forms like 2 months in advance.
Yeah, so gonna get on that now.
So if that is everything, we're done for the year.
Aloha.
Well, kind of. We have like 2 more things, but it's fine. All right. Everybody good? Everybody's got everything in? So no in?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're done.
Woo! You need like a little gavel. That could be your